Here we go again, more games to satisfy that hunger. You know what I'm talking about. You've just entered the lab.
The Phantom is trying to disappear.
Today is a good day to be a gamer. We've got Street Fighter 4 and Gears of War 2. It's not too often that a sequel outdoes the first, but when it happens, we're happy gamers. Gears of War 2. Now the original Gears has to be one of the all-time greatest games ever released on the 360. I had a few small issues with it, but it's still today, without question, one great title. Now Epic Games is at it again, combined with the guys at Microsoft Studios. In November 2008, they unleashed this monster on the gaming world, and once again we take control of Marcus and Dom and wreak well-deserved havoc on the Locust Horde.
We will go to where they live and where they breed, and we will destroy them.
Let's get into it. First we talk audio. Well done. Everything from the scores to voice acting and explosions are well done. It all helps to bring you deeper into the world of the Gears.
Dig in, baby. Going into overtime.
And then another element that helps immerse the gamer is the story. The story has considerably more depth than the first. Things are a lot clearer in this installment. Not perfectly clear, but it certainly makes more sense. As a matter of fact, even if you've never played part 1, you'd still have a pretty good understanding of what was going on. Take for instance the circumstances surrounding Dom's wife and the revelations regarding Marcus's father. What these side stories do is give the characters more depth. Now I'm well aware that most fans of the franchise couldn't give a rat's behind about the story, and if you said to them, "Do you remember Ram from part 1?" they would be totally lost. It doesn't matter, because at the end of it all, gamers like myself do exist. Gamers who appreciate a bit of depth, regardless of the genre. So yes, the added depth to the characters is welcomed.
The kids are at my mother's, so we got the whole day to ourselves.
So that's a quick run through on audio and story. Let's talk gameplay. First up, the enemy. We have a few new additions to the family, like the Tickers. At first, I thought they were replacements for the Wretches, but no, they're actually reinforcements. I figured that out the hard way. Apparently, the Wretches are here to stay. We've also been given the option to use the enemy as human shields. This is nothing new to gaming, but definitely new to Gears. This is one of those things that should have been included in the original. Kinda like the omission of that feature we have in Army of Two where you can drag your partner to safety while he covers you with suppressing fire. That also should have been in Gears, but whatever. We've got some new weapons as well as some of the old ones. Now while the standard issue Gears assault rifle, the Lancer, yeah, the one with the chainsaw, it's one no seasoned Gears player leaves home without, there are a few other useful and not so useful ones you'll want to hang on to.
Gotcha.
But here's an issue I had with the original that still bothers me today. Gather around the campfire, gamers. Let PG tell you all a story. Some time ago, we did a review on Gears Part 1. A gamer sent me a text expressing his disapproval of our comment made on active reloads. We were complaining about the sniper rifle and the one-shot then reload thing, and apparently we were not clear enough. Look, it's not that we don't understand active reloads, but at the end of the day, whether you reload faster or not, it's still slower than if you had a gun that could put out at least 6 to 12 rounds before reloading. And again, in this not so distant future, how can you be using a gun that needs to be reloaded after every shot? This is Gears of War, not Davy Crockett, King of the Wild Frontier. And like I told the feisty gamer who texted me, active reloads, though fairly simple to execute, can sometimes be inconsistent because in the middle of a heated battle you might press the reload button twice accidentally and end up messing up the reload. Then what happens? Your weapon takes twice as long to reload, quite annoying. So while active reloads are probably a cool gimmick, I believe it's an unnecessary one. Why not just make Gears of War a game where the soldiers reload their weapon really fast without gimmicks?
You know how the cold do it, baby. The bigger they are, the better the kill.
The squad's AI, in our opinion, has improved somewhat. They seem to be more helpful now. They'll run to your rescue a lot sooner. And even when playing co-op with a friend, you don't have to depend solely on your human teammate to heal you. Also, I think it's pretty cool that you can drag your sorry, wounded butt to a safer place when wounded. I just wish they took a page from Army of Two and allowed you to continue the fight even when incapacitated. One of my all-time favorite elements of Gears of War has to be its co-op campaign. This was near flawless in part 1, and it came back hitting even harder in this installment. Now you can have an even larger team to tackle the horde with. I mostly play the campaign co-op with a friend's system link, but if you're able to assemble a reliable team online, be prepared for one incredible experience. No rooks allowed though. Get your skills to top form before joining. Nobody wants to be a babysitter when battling the horde. Gears of War 2 gets most points for the overall game design, and stages like the one where you're inside the worm proves this. The whole idea of being inside this worm trying to take it down is very cool. Terribly disturbing since you have to travel through the intestines, but still a cool idea for a game.
Tell me we aren't where I think we are.
The graphics in Gears of War 2 are like this. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, while myself and others argue the graphics are very similar to Part 1, this isn't a bad thing. Remember, Part 1 was ahead of its time, way ahead. So even though Gears 2 doesn't look that much different than Gears 1, it's still a great looking game. The visuals here are great. All the details we appreciated in Part 1 are back with a little extra punch. So thumbs up for the graphics.
Troika's up ahead! Keep it steady, Marcus!
As for the game's duration, this is a problem I've had with the original Gears. I don't know, maybe because it's such a great game, but it seems to be over way too soon. The forgiving difficulty level might also be a contributor to this issue. But here is something that can probably extend the game's life for some gamers: online play. If you don't play on Xbox Live, then this won't be much help. Online offers you quite a bit, and with new maps out, you'll truly have your fill of Gears of War multiplayer mayhem. Other than the very cool 2 to 5 player co-op modes, we have stuff like Warzone, Submission, Execution, King of the Hill, and more. It's a very satisfying multiplayer experience, really. And even if you don't for some reason play on live, you can also go at its system link or the dreaded split screens. So there is something here for every Gears fan. Gears of War 2 is an excellent follow-up to the original, and like I said, it's not very often that we see a sequel outdo its predecessor, with great graphics, excellent game design from the characters to the weapons to the truly creative stages, with great multiplayer and co-op campaign and an improved story. The only problems I really have with this game are pretty much some of the same I had with the first, the duration and the questionable approach to reloading. But I guess no game's perfect, but Gears of War 2 came pretty close, and it's an improvement over an already great game. The lab gives Gears of War 2 a 10 out of 10.
You know it. Well, let's go chunk some bullets of them grubs.
Stick around, gamers. Our review of Street Fighter 4 is up next.